You know that feeling when you check your bank app and your stomach drops before the screen even loads? You already know what it's going to say. And then life decides to test you that same day. Your phone screen cracks, your landlord sends an unexpected message, your boss calls you in for a quick chat, and you're sitting there thinking, I am one random Tuesday away from being completely finished. If that's you, if you're constantly praying nothing goes wrong because you genuinely cannot afford it, this video is for you. Because in the next 60 days, we are building your emergency fund. Even if you're thinking, Dan, I'm barely surviving. What fun? Here's the thing most people get wrong. They think building an emergency fund is something you do after you get your life together. I'm going to argue the opposite. You build the emergency fund so you can get your life together. My name is Dan, and I spend way too much time thinking about how money actually works. And before we get into this, if you're someone who's tired of living paycheck to paycheck and you want real practical money strategies every week, hit subscribe right now. It's free, and it might be the best financial decision you make today. Now, let's build your emergency fund. Before we get into the plan, I need to hit you with something uncomfortable. A lot of people say, I can't save until I make more money. And sometimes that's true. If you're choosing between rent and groceries, there's no budgeting trick that changes the math. But here's what most people don't realize. Even when you can save something, your brain fights it. Not because you're lazy, not because you're irresponsible, because your brain is literally wired for survival today, not stability later. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, your brain enters scarcity mode. And scarcity mode does three things. You focus only on immediate problems, you ignore future risks, and you make small comfort purchases because you're stressed. So telling someone in that situation to just save 20% is like telling someone drowning to swim better. It doesn't work. So today, we're doing something different. We're building a 60-day emergency fund using two things: simple math and simple psychology. Let me show you why this is urgent. With real numbers. 1 in 4 Americans has zero emergency savings. Zero. The Federal Reserve found that in 2024, only 55% of adults had set aside 3 months of expenses, and the American Psychological Association reports that money is the #1 source of stress for adults. So if you feel anxious about money, you are extremely normal. Now, here's the part that surprises people. You don't need a perfect huge emergency fund to feel massive relief. A $10,000 fund is great, but a $300 to $1,000 buffer is genuinely life-changing, because it stops what I call the financial domino effect. One unexpected bill turns into overdraft fees, turns into late fees, turns into credit card interest, turns into borrowing from people you shouldn't have to borrow from. An emergency fund breaks that chain. So what's the goal in 60 days? We're aiming for $600. Why 600? Because it's big enough to handle most random Tuesday problems. A flat tire, a small medical bill, a utility bill that's higher than expected, but small enough that it's actually achievable, even if you're starting from almost nothing. If you can do more than $1,000, amazing. But we start at $600. $600 in 60 days equals $10 per day. That's it. Now, you might be thinking, Dan, I don't have $10 a day. I barely have money left after bills. Totally fair. So here's the strategy. We are not going to save $10 per day by suffering. We're going to build a system that finds $10 per day through reducing leaks, creating small extra income, adding friction between you and impulse spending, and automating the wins, so you don't rely on motivation. This is where it gets interesting. The emergency fund isn't just money, it's a behavior machine. Here's the framework. Separate, stabilize, squeeze. Day 1 is not save money. Day 1 is stop saving in the same place you spend. If your emergency fund is sitting in your checking account, it's not an emergency fund, it's a snack fund. Your brain treats money that's visible and easy to access as available, so we need separation and friction. Do this today. Open a separate savings account, rename it, do not touch emergency fund. If your bank lets you hide accounts from the main screen, hide it. This sounds silly, but it works because you're designing your environment. Willpower is not a strategy. Environment is a strategy. Now automate something that feels almost too small. If you can do $5 per day, do $5 per day. If you can only do $3 per day, do 3. The goal is not the amount. The goal is the habit that runs without you. Because if you say, I'll save whatever is left at the end of the month, you will save nothing, every time. Set up an auto transfer right after pay. Nah, when you remember. Not if you feel like it. Right after payday. Now, we hunt for the first $100. Because your brain needs proof. It needs to see movement. Here are the fastest, most realistic ways to find $100 in week 1. A. Cancel one thing you forgot you were paying for. Go into your bank statements right now and look for subscriptions, app fees, memberships, random trial charges. Cancel just one. Even $10 per month matters, because it's not just $10. It's $10 plus the habit of not paying for things you don't use. B. The 48-hour pause rule. For the next 60 days, any non-essential purchase gets a 48-hour wait. Not forever, just 48 hours. That pause breaks the impulse loop, because the real enemy of saving is not coffee, it's impulse. C. Sell one thing this weekend. Old headphones, shoes you don't wear, a keyboard collecting dust, anything. One weekend, one sale. It could be $40, $70, or $120. It all goes into the fun. Week 2 is where we get serious. Most people don't have a budget problem, they have a leak problem. Leaks are small, frequent, and emotionally justified. I deserve this, I'm stressed. It's only $12. So we do a quick audit using the simplest method, the 3-category check. Look at the last 14 days of spending and label each expense as either must, maybe, or mess. Must, rent, utilities, groceries, transport. Maybe, things you like, but could reduce temporarily. Mess, what was I thinking? Your emergency fund will come from the maybe and the mess, not from starving yourself. Real math example, $24 per week on takeout, $12 per week on convenience store stuff, $15 per week on random online purchases. That's $51 per week, over 8 weeks. That's for 08. That alone is most of the $600 goal. And we haven't even touched income yet. Weeks 3 and 4. Pick 6 cheap default meals and repeat them. Not forever, just for 60 days. You need default meals so you don't decide from scratch every day when you're tired and hungry. Rice and eggs, pasta and sauce, beans and bread. Simple, cheap, predictable. And give yourself one planned treat per week. Because if you remove all joy, you will rebound and spend more. Restriction breeds rebellion. Cutting can only go so far. So now, we at not by starting a business empire, with quick, realistic moves. Option 1. Ask for more hours, extra shifts, overtime. Even 4 extra hours per week at your rate is real money. In 4 weeks, that adds up. Option 2. 1 weekend money. Mission? Pick one. Delivery, driving, freelancing, helping someone move, house cleaning, tutoring, anything that pays quickly. Goal, $150 in 1 weekend. It's exhausting, but it's 60 days, and the payoff is you stop living in financial fear. Option 3, negotiate one bill. Call your internet provider, phone provider, or insurance. Ask, do you have a cheaper plan? Can you remove any fees? Are there promotions I qualify for? Even saving $20 per month is $40 over 60 days, and it continues after. The hardest part isn't saving the money once. It's not spending it later when your emotions spike. So we add rules. The emergency definition rule. An emergency is something that threatens your health, housing, transportation, income, or basic utilities. An emergency is not a sale, a vacation, boredom, a bad day. Write that down. Put it in your notes app right now. The replace first rule. If you spend $120 from the fund on a real emergency, your next goal becomes replenish that $120 first. This keeps the fund alive instead of slowly dying. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Sarah. Sarah wasn't careless, she was just stuck. Every month was tight, every surprise bill went on a credit card, and then the card payment made next month even tighter. Classic loop. So she tried something simple, a separate account, an auto transfer of $5 per day, sold a few things, cut 2 subscriptions, did 1 weekend gig. By day 30, she had around $320. Then her car needed a repair. Old Sarah would have used a credit card at 24% interest and spent the next 6 months miserable. New Sarah paid cash. And she told me something that stuck. It wasn't the 320. It was knowing she could handle life. That's the point. This is not about being rich, it's about being unpanicable. Most people don't fail financially because they're irresponsible. They fail because they wait until they feel ready. And meanwhile, life keeps happening. Your emergency fund is not a luxury. It's not something you earn the right to have. It's basic protection, like a seatbelt. You don't wait to crash to decide you should have worn one. So here's your move today. Open the separate account. Set the smallest auto transfer you can handle right now. Pick one fast win for the first 100, and then come back here and comment, Day 1, done. My number is X. Because when you say it out loud, it becomes real. And if you want more videos like this, practical, no fluff, actually doable money strategies, subscribe. Because 60 days from now, you can still be stressed hoping nothing breaks, or you can be the person who can handle a random Tuesday. That person is closer than you think.